Report 88. I'm getting worried, Primary. There's this little display box right over in the corner of my work grid. It shows the status of the team I'm watching, and it's been stuck on the same image ever since they reached Choir's surface. I can see them, eyes full of hope and concern and curiosity. One of them looks a little distracted. But the picture is supposed to be live by now, and it's not. Everyone's in the right place, and there's been more than enough time, so what's keeping them from throwing the switch? We were sent all this way, and with all this tech, and we can't even get a decent visual on Choir before the new arrivals set up their network. Sorry, it's just... what happens if they fail? I mean, I know we're not supposed to ask questions about mission-critical premises, but, well, this is more mission tangential, at least by my readings. What happens if they get hurt? Or captured? Or if the node gets destroyed and then they can't fab up a new one? I gave up a stable existence for a chance at adventure, Primary. But it's just me and this capsule and this little picture in the corner of my work grid. And all I want to know is what happens if this picture of them never changes. I'm just going to say it one time, and you're getting yourselves in up to your heads.
In what? In opportunity?
Oh, buddy. It's a big world here, and there's still a lot of space. Yeah. But there's a lot
That's great news.
But there's a lot of people who like things the way they are, or who want them to be more one way than another way. Uh-huh. And there is going to be a lot of opportunity, and you're the opportunity for them.
Huh. That's not a great thing to hear. There is, I mean, we did hear that there's a whole section of this continent called the Savage Mandate. That doesn't sound ideal.
Call them that. They're not savage. It's some...
That's what we just learned that word.
I don't...
Wait.
Surge. And he's like, well, that's
he
what
did.
the crown.
Hold on. To be fair to
what
Surge,
the crown says.
To be fair, he did offer that as a secondary name.
Okay, just don't use that word around here.
Okay, how come?
Because it's bullshit. They're just people what have cars and airships, and sometimes they live inside of weird machine wrecks or whatever. But they're not savage.
Okay, but they are Mandati.
They call themselves Mandati. I'll call them Mandati. No problem.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, I bought the whole Savage Mandate thing just because they looked like they were looking to, you know.
You can't judge a book by its cover. If there's some people near here who happen to be part of the Mandate who are looking for a fight, that doesn't mean all the Mandati are out for a fight.
So it's not like one big gang.
Ain't nothing like one big gang out here. The crown is the closest thing. And even that's got factions and sub-factions and allegiances and bullshit.
Microfactions?
Sub-allegiances?
Sub-allegiances. All the different words you're saying.
Macrofactions.
That's just the big one. Yeah, that's... Oh, shit, she says. Like, that's the crown. It's...
The crown's the macrofaction?
She's coming back. She's on her way back. And she just, like, stands up and leaves the kitchen. And heads out, like into the big main room and like grabs like a cloak from the wall. So Doyen is coming back from the garden. That's what's happening. That's what those shit.
Who?
The crown herself. Don't. It's around the same time every year. She goes out to the garden. She passes right by here. She's gonna be here, and then like that's when you hear the explosion from outside, down at the road. What
Should
do you do?
we go help?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, Evan's already like out and running towards the explosion.
The second that explosion happens, Echo's out the room.
wait, but we don't even know whose side we're on.
Nope. Just people are gonna be hurt.
Hey, guys, whose side are we
is
on?
more light jogging than running.
I think Surge like looks at Jane and is like, Janie, don't go out there. You don't need to see. And she's also already out.
Serge, whose side are we on?
Oh, you're wrong. You get back here safe and sound. We'll have dinner ready.
Austin, I think this would be a good time for me to do the what's that move called?
I don't know.
Freedom.
What's that do?
Freedom. I'll just read the text. When you lead people out of danger, name up to 3 people you wish to save. When you save all of them, you generate 2 humanity. When you try and fail to save anyone you name, generate 1 humanity.
Let me give you the scene before you actually name it.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So you're all just rushing back to the road, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going? Who is not going?
Evan's going.
I have to go.
Yeah, going, but again, going just a touch slower.
Okay.
I can't miss this footage.
Fair. That's fair. Okay, so I'm bringing us back over here really quick, and I'm going to keep using this little mini canvas I have, which I like a lot.
How are they going to know whose side we're on?
They have their own whole situation. Don't even worry about it. All right, so there is just like a long road, right? And y'all are coming from the north, and there's like the plateau to the south, and there is, as you leave the church, you see an explosion as one of the glint wings, they're all up in the air, and what happens is one of them discharges its wings, like its glowy plasma wings, that turns into a huge plasma blast, and it just like boom, crushes down to the ground, blows up, causes dust to fly up in the air, and then like it doesn't have wings, and so it's like gliding or like nose like bombing, basically like dive bombing, before its wings sputter back on and they can take back off. So it's like it is both their way of flying and also what their like attack is, what their bombs are, is the plasma energy. So what the caravan you see is about, there are like 3 kind of trucks that are filled with material of some sort, like big, like huge, like 18-wheeler style transport trucks, probably with like hover. They're probably like maglev also. Then there is a front like vehicle that is actually kind of like, it's almost like it's not an elephant, but it's like a turtle almost. Do you know what I mean? It's like a big shelled back that is, the shell is like transparent glass, and it walks instead of driving. It has like 4, maybe 6 legs. Maybe it's like a beetle, actually. That actually is cooler. So it's like a big beetle that has like a transparent, translucent glass back. And in fact, you see one of the plasma shots like hits that, and like it deflects it. The glass deflects the plasma burst, and it like flies off into the desert and explodes. And then you see spread throughout like this group 4 humanoid mechs. They are like big suits of armor. Each of them has like a different weapon, and each of them like kind of pulls together to like keep that main, I guess maybe 2 of them stay with the main front like beetle walker, and the other 2 stay back with the trucks. And one of them pulls up, like it has like a long cloak and a almost like a bishop hat basically built into the top of its armored head, and these are like probably 2 or 3 stories tall. One of them has a huge rifle, and it pulls it up and like begins taking pot shots up at the sky. One of them has a hammer. One of them has just like a sword and a shield. And the last one I actually do have to look at my notes for. 1 second. But what are you all doing while this is happening?
I'm
Oh, the
I
last
think
one has like cool drill fists, basically, and it is like spinning those drills up and is like charging, is like running towards the southern plateau, and like on the top of the plateau, you can see that the rest of that like party is coming towards the edge, and it just starts like punching those claws or like those drill hands into the side of the plateau and begins climbing up it that way.
I feel like I have a story, a lead, and a source at this point.
Yeah, I agree. So is it time to broadcast?
I think what I'm doing, yes, is planning out the broadcast in my head while we're going. I might even, I'll start the broadcast even.
How's that work? What's the Curiosity of Millions says, when you become a telepresence and broadcast to the world in order to tell a story by way of your perceptions in the moment and what you're thinking and feeling right now, describe the story as the audience experiences it, then roll.
So I guess the scene is the broad story is the node, but the scene I think is shots of us running up on these mechs and the explosions and the sort of the loudness of combat when there's big heavy robots involved. Cut with scenes of us on our way to where we are now.
Okay.
Starting with landing on the planet, our first steps on the planet, the seeing like from the top of the canyon, the view, finding Even, seeing scared finding Echo, seeing scared Grand Magnificent, meeting the people in the church. And I think that's the setup to it.
How do you feel? And give me a roll.
I feel daring from
Interesting.
I think this is the most dangerous thing. This is like the most adrenaline inducing thing that has happened to Gig, probably, right? Because like I'm not like his job is kind of dangerous because his job is to like go with other people to do their jobs to make sure they're not dangerous.
Yeah,
which could be dangerous.
Yep.
But I think this is the first sincere moment of violence and death that he's ever experienced.
All right, give me.
And so
I think that's joyful. I think daring it's either joyful or powerful.
It's joyful.
Okay, go ahead and give me a joyful.
12.
Okay, there we go. So on a 10 to plus, choose 2. Your stream suppressor does not fail, which means you maintain creative control of your broadcast without intervention. The broadcast goes viral. You make as much credit as the highest dice in your roll, which in this case would be a 6. Yeah. You manage to retain control of your own body, feelings, and memories as you link with the audience. Yeah.
So this is I choose all 3, not 2.
No, it says on 10 plus choose 2.
Well, then I guess it doesn't fail, and I retain creative control, and I also retain control of my body, feelings, and memories.
Okay, which basically means you can continue to act in this scene, right? Like what I would basically be saying is like if you didn't do that one, what you're doing this scene is filming it, and also like not having it blend into your weird memories and stuff, like so that's the thing.
And I think so over that, so just like for his own style, right? So as that is happening, I think you're also getting Gig going like, "Hey guys, sorry I haven't updated in a while," and then and then sort of explaining it in that way to the people who are watching.
What is the explanation? Is it like we came to this place and here's what we were here to do and here's what happened?
Yeah. I think that like as those scenes that I picked out as like the flashback scenes, I think that I'm sort of like that's like the Cliff Notes version of like what happened that I quickly explain.
Right.
Like quickly explain like what the factions are. It's like, yeah, we don't know like what if we're on a side but we just know that there's like explosions out here and it's wild and we just gotta go.
Do you basically have like a version of the oh, you know what? Hey, I got it wrong.
What's up?
I'm looking at the
I get all 3?
You get all 3. I just double checked.
Yeah, okay.
You're good to go. Awesome.
All right, so it's also viral. That's great.
Yes.
I make 6 cred.
Make 6 cred, which is a lot of cred.
How many cred do I start with? None?
Like, I think none. I think none or 2, but I don't remember where I'm getting that from. So,
Okay.
mark 6 though.
You
I don't know
get
how to
2
fill
cred
it in.
according to
Probably
your
not down here.
sheet.
What's that? Oh,
The
2? Okay,
tell
so I
person
have now
says you
8
start
Oh, yeah,
cred.
there it is. Yeah, 2. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Great.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So everybody else, as this camera starts rolling.
Eyes out, by the way. I can cut between the 2 cameras.
Okay. Multicam. Got it.
Got a
Multicam.
TriCaster in your head.
Yeah. Basically.
I literally, yeah. I have a try. Yes. Yeah.
What is the thing that you do have? Because one of the things you have to write is like, it's soft ROM or something, or moist chip,
It's
dry ROM.
Yeah. Soft ROM. Yeah. Soft
Okay.
ROM.
There are suggestions for a moist disk, OptiCube, or dry ROM.
Dry ROM, but I'm using soft ROM. I had soft RAM, but just ROM just sounds better.
Yeah, soft ROM's better. All right, cool. Everybody else, as these explosions go off and the camera flies up above you, what's everyone doing?
Who was the name of the woman who also left? Was it Janie or Joni?
Janie is what Serge was calling her. And she's on like a robot horse with like a duster, like a long cloak on, basically, that looks like a duster, but it's a cloak.
Well, that's pretty sick.
And she just has like a rifle.
Okay. Well, I was gonna try and like run next to her and ask her how we could help, but I guess she's probably like ahead of us.
She's like, yeah, she's like gone from being kind of like cool-headed and a little bit like detached to being like there's a fire in her eyes.
I guess as I'm running out the door, I yell out to Serge, "Can I borrow your car?"
I'll drive. You stay in back.
Okay.
And he like runs into the church and like slams his hand on like a big button that drops the doom buggy down. And he hops in. You could never fit in the driver's seat. He's a big boy. And so then like peels out. Grand and Echo. Thank you. Sorry, I was looking at the screen.
Actually,
your name was not there.
No worries. Could I get in on the doom buggy, or is there not a space?
You would like hang on to it basically.
That's exactly what I want. So...
Good. Yes.
Also, for the freedom thing, I think I do know the 3 people I'd name.
Okay.
To get out of there safely, it's Serge and Janie.
Okay.
And then Janie said the name of her, and I'm blanking on it now. The Doyen. Yeah, the Doyen would be the 3rd.
Okay, cool. And so the way that works is, can you read that to me one more time?
Yeah, sure. Let me just get my character sheet up. When you lead people out of danger, name up to 3 people you wish to save. When you save all of them, you generate 2 humanity. When you try and fail to save anyone you name, generate 1 humanity.
Jeez. Okay, cool. So, like, it's that middle area where you get nothing, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. So who gets there first? And also, wait, Grand, how are you getting there?
I mean, I don't have a way anymore.
So you were just running with...
I was, like, trailing
Gig?
Echo, and then Echo... I guess I was... No, Gig was behind me, but I was trailing Echo, and then Echo got in the car, and I can't fit in or hang on to the side of the car, so... I guess I'm just getting there when I get there.
Yeah, you're not that far off. You guys could take the maglev. You could drop the node and take the maglev.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Do that.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
Fine. If you don't want to ride a cool maglev, like, over the desert, that's fine.
I didn't know that was an option. I would have done that.
Isn't it slow?
Oh, man, that
right
would... Wait,
now-
hold on. I'm taking it. That is a perfect smooth dolly for the camera. It's built-in stabilization. It's a hovering vehicle. So that sounds pretty good.
I think you could jack it up. You could someone... You're a weird mechanic, right?
Me?
Grand.
No.
Okay.
I'm not a mechanic. I can't, like...
Yeah.
I build new things.
You're like a mechanic's cousin, though. You have like an overlapping skill set.
Yeah, I don't know if it does this. I mean... I guess it makes it easier if I say yes, it does.
It makes it easier if you say yes, it does. I would still make you roll for it to make it like a fast thing. Otherwise, you're just going to be not there for the first like 2 rounds, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess I'll try to. I mean, yeah, I guess. What are we saying?
Risk.
That is?
This is risk.
Sure. Yeah.
How do you feel while doing this?
Rushed? Is rushed here? Panicky?
Scared?
That sounds scared.
That sounds scared to me. Give me that scared.
Frenzied?
Anxious is
That's a 7.
close.
That's not bad. So I think, let me look at your stuff really quick. Grand.
Yeah, 2 cred stuff that help, but because this is all portable visual modifiers that plug into your cybernetics, and then choose 1 weapon. And I have a venomous folding knife, which I've decided is part of my larger Swiss Army knife.
Right, it's one of those. I think that like gets stuck in. You have to like cut a wire, and it's stuck in like scissors mode. You have to spend a round when you get there, like unscissoring it, basically.
Sure.
So basically, like you need to reload this knife, basically, even though that's not a thing you traditionally would do. But you're able to like boost it, and it just like and like just like takes the fuck off across this desert, and it's like a land speeder. And y'all get there. All of you get there. And the drill mech has like climbed up to the top and has begun like straight up kicking trucks over and shit. But a lot of them are like, a lot of people are now like paragliding down just from the plateau. And a number of them are firing shots off in this general direction. The big night mechs are like doing their best to protect the stuff and also the Doyen. But none of them can get a shot off on the big, the glint wings up in the sky. What do you all do?
So is that the number 1 threat right now? Is the glint wings?
It is hard to tell.
Okay.
There's like a big, from where you can tell, they're the biggest like immediate threat, especially for personnel. But there is also a big truck that is like kind of skidding its way down this hill from the plateau with like weird like claw breaks. It's like falling down and then will claw itself in and whip itself around as it falls down, like almost like a weird one of those weird like sticky hands. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It actually like does that past the knight that has climbed up, and it's like fuck it, I'll deal with the things up here instead. So that's the most obvious threat without any sort of analysis. What's everybody else doing? Because I think this is the moment that Gig, you're setting up your camera and stuff. So you get there, you turn on.
Yeah. So, I did the monologue while we were riding.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
How far away are we from all this stuff?
Y'all are all here. Like you're here now. Boom. You're here. You're like over a dune. You're right here. You're within reach, basically.
Okay. I guess I yell out to Janie and it's like, what do you need us to do?
Oh, y'all should have stayed back. Just be careful. Don't get don't get in any of their ways. And she like she's like a lever action rifle, and she like pumps it, and she like keeps pumping it, and then aims up in the sky and like is trying to get a bead on one of the bird things.
Okay. I take the Amp Runner's homing beacon out of my pocket.
Wait, what's the Amp Runner?
Oh, that's my mech.
Tell me about your mech.
So the Amp Runner is...
This is a mech that Grant designed for you. So I think we should just talk about how that was designed. So this is like we're getting like not a flashback, but you've built this mech a while ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think like when Even got called on, like he met with Grand Magnificent and like they like figured out like, okay, like we're going to a new planet, like, you know, what do we need, like what's the so this I think is, I guess you've already built it, right? Sorry, I was looking at the move Beauty is Truth, Truth is Beauty, which is one of Grand Magnificent's moves. I think that's what will happen when they see your mech. Even have you two talked about what this mech looks like?
We briefly did in the chat. I don't think we really got anywhere.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Although I will just reiterate what I said earlier. Have you thought about it being a Picasso? And then I posted a really good picture of a Picasso.
Uh-huh.
I mean, What does a Picasso mech look like? I'm not opposed to this. I'm into this.
it's just like super angular and exaggerated, right? Instead of being like a sleek person, like you think of like a Gundam, think of like, the one where the eyes are square and the body is is not right. It's a striking piece.
Right.
It's asymmetrical. It's.
Have you thought about it being a Goya?
Wait, now I have to Google Goya.
It's a mech that's eating the head off a smaller mech.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I see. Yeah. I remember you've posted this before. Okay.
I mean, one of the things that it sounded like it was important for you, Dre, was that Even's mech not just be a person, right?
Right, yeah, and I actually like the idea of it being like
you said
quadrupedal.
like a centaur almost.
Like it's built like an all-terrain vehicle.
If there's ever a season for a hypercat, this would be the season.
I mean, look, I'm not opposed to having a Zoid.
I got you.
Just saying.
It's up to you. Listen, you're designing this thing, so
Yeah, do you want a Liger Zero?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of wanted to do this with art, like, because I did want it to be like Grand Magnificent made this thing, so I wanted.
I see it. So let's imagine this. I want this
weird touches
scenario.
on
I
this.
want the image of Even meeting Grand Magnificent. Have you met before you've made this request? Have you like gotten dinner? Is this over dinner? Is this at like a nice restaurant that you're having this conversation?
Yeah, almost certainly, right?
Yeah, we like get the cuts of you two describing it, and then we get like cut from eating like a meal to in the workshop as Grand Magnificent draws it in the sky, and the machines all start building it and putting it together.
Yeah. And it might even be like happening while we're talking, right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, you want this, and then it happens.
Right. Yeah. Totally. So what's that conversation look like? Let's just have that conversation straight up. You're eating. What are you both eating?
Noodles.
Okay, so you're at a noodle shop, or you're getting noodles from a place that also has other things.
I think it's like this ship. It's on the ship, right? The ship has to be like sort of capable of anything, right? If you want a steak, it's got a steak. If you want a,
I guess. You tell me. Yeah. This is like the ship, the colonization ship, the first ship, not the colonization ship, but the ship that you've taken. This is the Myriad that you're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it can cook a bunch of stuff. I think it's probably like a wide range, but a limited array. Do you know what I mean? Like, yep, it has 20 different meals. And they go the gamut, but there are 20 different meals.
Yeah, it's probably like, oh, you want a steak? This is the steak.
Yes.
It's not like there's 5 steaks.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me what that conversation looks like. You're sitting on the ship in like the dining quarters. You can see the Twilight Mirage behind you, which means that it's like that nice. Today you're catching it on like a nice. It's like an early morning version of the Twilight Mirage. So there's just like it's mostly dark, but there's this little bit of blue and early orange at the bottom, kind of peeking up. And you're eating noodles.
That's like, okay, I understand what you wanted to do. But what do you want it to be?
Huh. I mean, I get this is how you work and this is how you think, but I guess I've ever only thought about it in terms of utility.
Okay. Let's just do it at a different angle. When your enemies see this, what do you want them to feel? Are they afraid of you? Are they impressed by you?
I want them to underestimate me until it's too late for them to realize their mistake.
Okay. What if it was, and he's like sort of like sketching as the thing behind him builds it. What if it was small? What if it was compact and he gestures and it goes away, and like you see the robots behind just like take it apart. Okay. What if it looked old? What if we?
Well, listen. What are you trying to say here?
What if we put a hole in the torso? What if we made it look like just the last thing anyone would take with them anywhere? This is, the junk pile. And I want you to know that I'm not making you a junk pile. I'm making you something that looks like a junk pile.
No, I like it. I can see the technical advantage in that.
Okay. We give you, you have half of an arm, but then, that half an arm can be a sword. We put a hole in your chest, but that's where the energy cannon comes from. And it's very nice inside, I promise.
This fucking guy.
I can I can see why they wanted me to work with you.
And this is like starting to look like in the back, and it's coming together, and it's like he started to, he stops looking at Gardner and looks at it while it's being painted. And it's like, first it's like a distressed blue, and that's just not right. And so the whole thing gets taken apart again and reassembled.
You could just paint over it?
No, that would look bad.
Yeah, come on, Austin.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Over time, they can take the color off of that, and it's time to. We'll use those parts together. No one's throwing anything away.
Mm-hmm.
But we're people of action at this table. Do you have a favorite color?
Purple.
Do you have a second favorite color?
Oh, okay. No purple, huh? Okay. Orange?
Purple it is. And it's purple, but the insignia is in orange, but it's all very weathered. There's I can't decide if I think it's better if they've gotten to the... No, it is better this way. Where they paint it, and then there are tiny robots that just rub sandpaper at it as Grand Magnificent stares at it and sort of directs them, and they're not looking at him. They're not really, they're taking direction from his implant, but he's a little over there. Not so heavy on the head.
Is it still basically a human?
No, I do like the idea of it being like a mechanized like a lion or a tiger. I do like that idea.
Does Gardner give that? Does Gardner stop him at one point and go, "Oh no! I don't want a person mech. Give me a cool cat."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's he says "Oh no! Everything I've ever flown has had 4 legs," and it's I need to have some sort of familiarity.
Okay, so they just take it all apart again. But I think we can now jump ahead to it being...
Yeah. So what do you do with the Amp Runners thing?
I think so. You and I talked, and one of the things that was part of this symbiosis thing that happened with Gardner is that his previous cybernetics are gone. So he used to have a remote connection with whatever he was flying, but that doesn't exist anymore. Right. So now he basically just carries this this homing beacon on him. Yeah. And when he presses it, the Amp Runner gets launched.
So where is it right now, Gardner? Is it in orbit?
I think, it's in a satellite pod.
You came
orbit.
with a satellite pod, on Myriad, that was attached to the back of it. When Myriad came in to, landed, when it left the satellite pod up in orbit waiting for you to send the signal. Do you yell anything when this happens? Is there a cool slogan?
Oh, God. I should have known ahead of time, too. I don't know. So Gardner doesn't say a slogan. But what happens is that as the Amp Runner, breaks orbit and, breaks Atmo, Grand Magnificent designed it in such a way that, there's, certain, chinks and divots in the armor on the outside. So as it's, once it moves up to a high enough speed, it creates the noise of a giant lion's roar. And so there's just, this deafening roar as what probably looks like a giant fireball. Whistle. Yeah.
I actually have a question about this because we talked about it being deceptively weak looking.
Mm-hmm.
Does that go hand in hand with that roar? Because the roar to me sounds like, oh shit, there's a big ass lion here, and then it's supposed to get down there and be disarming. Do you know what I mean? I like the big ass roar, and we could be hey, flashback. Actually, it's just a big cool ass lion. But I did like the bit of characterization where Gardner was like, "No, I want it to be kind of."
It could be like a janky, like digitally roar.
Oh, that sounds good as
like
hell.
a Pokemon call, like a
Yes,
Pokemon Red and
that's
Blue
literally what I had in mind. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
All right. So this is a moment, Grand, where you have to make a roll.
Yeah, I have to roll. Beauty is truth. Truth is beauty. Which is I think we said powerful last time. I'm going to roll with that.
Yeah, I think that seems true. So what that means is, goddamn good roll, is what that means. What that means is, beauty is truth, truth is beauty, says, when you take something you feel, a concept or an idea, and express yourself by way of your chosen art, whether performed or presented, in this case it's presented, and it is experienced by others, roll on a 10 plus, choose 3, on a 7 and 9, choose 2. So the things you can choose are, people understand what it is you intend to convey.
That's important. I'm choosing that one.
Okay. People, one person present must meet you. Tell the MC who. You spike out the state of your choice in someone present. The experience either begins to change popular opinion or otherwise alter a sense of self in those that witness it. Tell the MC what it is you hope for, and that consumes 2 choices. Or it inflicts humanity harm on all that experience it.
Okay, not that one.
Okay. We were going to have to get into what humanity harm is.
I want one person, 2 witnesses to have to meet me, and I want that to be the head. I want it to be like the most important person leading this attack.
Oh, interesting.
They don't have to do it now.
Okay, no,
like,
that's
it's not
fantastic.
like they don't have to like run to me.
Yeah, no,
but they have to see this and be like, I want to meet the guy who built that.
Yep, that sounds good. Cool.
By the way, I love the idea that one of the things is like that they understand what you're trying to get across, and the thing that you're trying to get across is tricking them.
Well, the thing that gets across is this thing is not a threat. That is like I'm not here to fuck them over on that. Like the thing that is intended to be conveyed is a sense that this thing is not my main problem, and it is my main problem. So like it is there.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I love that.
Yes.
The thing that the art is trying to do is trick people.
Yes, totally. All right. So
and when it works, it's a lie.
Right.
No, I have one more because it's what I want. I get 3, right?
Oh, so you got contend to convey is the first one.
Yeah, intend to convey.
Yes.
One person must meet me, and I guess because I don't want to inflict humanity harm, I want to spike out the state of my choice in someone present. Would one of y'all like to be spiked out, or should I try to hose an enemy?
What does spiking out do?
So
it gives you +2 in that emotion and -1 and everything else. Right?
It gives you +1 in that emotion, not an additional one. It sets an emotion to 1 and gives everything else -2.
Oh, I thought it added 1.
No. So it's a negative.
It's pretty much just bad.
Unless it's raising a -1 to a +1. You know what I mean? And you're in a scene where you believe. But yes, like spiking an emotion is not a thing you necessarily want to have happen. Also, briefly, Echo, I've confirmed with Fraser that the highest armor is 2.
Okay.
Period. Like that, even it doesn't stack half higher.
That's fine.
2, so good to know. So yeah, who do you want to make feel away? You could also choose one of these twice. You could also choose people meeting you twice or something.
You could have the most powerful person from both sides. Both want to meet you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, people on both sides. They want to know who built this weird cat.
Yeah. Okay. I think that there's this moment when it roars. It does its digital Pokemon roar and it lands. Do you like jump up to it in that moment too, Gardner? Like,
yeah, I mean, I have to climb in. I think like what it is like a something like a compartment of the chest opens and it's just like a little like rope with like a step on the bottom and like Gardner like
he doesn't
foot
scoop
in
you in with a paw.
No, Gardner puts his foot in that little rope hook and like rides up.
And so I think in that moment 2 things happen. There's like the Doyen. So the Doyen, at this point, you're close enough to see her. She's like Grace Jones, like super high cheekbones with like incredibly dark skin, and like a high, like a very high angular high top cut, basically, or a flat top cut, who is wearing. She's just like in this moment. Inside of the glass, she just seems nude, like just completely nude inside of this glass tortoise shell, but like not it's blurry, but like not because it's hard to see like if she has something around her, but there seems to almost be like an aura that is not censoring her necessarily, but that makes the features of her body seem distorted from like a clean, crystal clear view. But it's just her skin tone, and it's just like even at night, it like in the shades of the bluish teal like light of the plasma blast as they are flying by in slow motion, it just like paints her skin, and it's just fucking gorgeous. And then so we get us like her head turning very slowly, first at the sight of the amp runner, breaking through the atmosphere, and then at Gardner getting into it, and then just like she like scans everyone around, and then like her eyes match with yours, Grand. And there is, in that brief moment, like, you realize she built the tortoise that she's standing in, and she probably designed those mechs that are here too. And like there's just like a recognition of like good work, well done. She is not tricked by this. She knows that you've tricked everyone else, right?
Sure.
And then there's a second thing that happens, which is that you hear like the sound. We just like the viewer just hears the sound of a bolt action rifle being bolted. It's like kink, kink, and then like, and there's a single shot that goes through the air, and it is a single bullet pierces the chest cavity of one of these knights. So I should describe these knights really quick, because they're not just big armored knights. Now that you're close enough to see them, they actually have cockpits that are also made of this hard glass. They are like, I'm trying to think of like the best way to describe it. Like, there are people in there, like in bodysuits, who are like moving their bodies to move the knights. And like part of their legs disappear down into the knight armor in the legs and like out into the arms. But then like the center is just this hard glass shell. And their heads kind of go up. So it's just their body. You just see like their torso in the middle, almost like where the heart is. There's just a glass like heart there. And you just hear this one shot, and it rings out, and it pierces one of the knight's hearts, and it just drops to a knee, and then like falls over, and then it drops its big ass hammer. And in that moment, like all three of the Glintwings fire their plasma stuff all at once, and like start hitting way harder. Without that one extra knight there, one of the like trucks blows up, and all of this material goes in the air, which is like it you can see it now. It's like fruit, and it's like vegetables and wheat and a bunch of other stuff that was clearly like basically gardening, or not gardening, but like agricultural product. That's all you can tell from here anyway. What's everybody do?
I think that Gig's mood is changed. This is going viral. I know how many people are watching, and it's way more people than I've ever watched anything I've ever done before.
Yeah.
And I think that this is like the weight of like, oh, I'm now doing a thing that the entire fleet is interested in seeing dawning for the first time.
Right.
And I think that he's scared, and probably like takes out his rifle. He also has a sort of like weird bolt actiony rifle thing. And I don't know if he uses it yet, because I still am not clear on like
who's the
if
goodies?
We're on a side.
Right.
Yeah. All I know is that like the people that I am here to like see what they do are all here.
Right.
And so I have to be there. But I am ready to use the gun. I think I say that. I'm like, hey guys, I have this gun. And I might have to use this.
Yeah.
And I think I say it out loud. I don't have to say it out loud, but I think I feel like AKA Gig feels like it adds something when I'm saying it instead of just narrating it in my head.
Right. Echo, what are you doing?
So there's the Mondani forces we saw earlier on foot here too, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. And
All
they're
right.
probably engaging with like a handful of, like, I think the knights are basically taking on the bulk of them, but there are like a handful of other guards who are probably guarding this like beetle walker, and are like in combat with them. Also, and then there's just the big truck that has finally made its way down the side of the plateau, and it is like, you see what happens is that truck hits the ground and then like kind of bolts itself into the ground, and begins to unfold something from the top of its shell, or the top of its like cab, basically. And that thing is like maybe a big old gun.
All right, I'm gonna go deal with that.
Okay. Just, like,
Are
take
there
off
like
sprinting?
Well, are there people guarding it?
Yeah, there are like 3 people around it who have rifles of their own.
What I kind of want to do is, because Echo's on the back of this dune buggy,
Yeah.
is use the momentum to basically jump off of it into this group of people and attack them that way.
Okay. I'm gonna say you don't have anything that like lets you do better with groups, right?
No.
So
I just have the thing that the style that lets me have more armor.
Okay, well that's useful.
No. Yeah.
So I'd say that I think this is just neutralized with disadvantage, basically, which means you roll 3d6 and take the lowest 2 because you're outnumbered.
Okay.
How are you feeling about this?
If it's a fight, Echo feels powerful about it.
Okay, well,
just
mark
straight up.
powerful and roll
Yeah.
3d6.
So
You
I'm
can
just
actually,
gonna
there's
hit
like that little
them-
downward arrow next to,
Yeah.
and you can just roll that. Oof.
6.
Does anyone want to help? I think maybe Even could help here.
Yeah.
Please help.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going after like this truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like specifically the people guarding it, like gardening it.
So I think what I do to help is that like I think I just start like firing with the rail gun that's on the amp runner. And I don't even know if I'm trying to hit any of them in particular, but I'm basically just trying to get their attention.
Right.
I might hit something, but I'm not like taking my time to line up a shot. I'm just dumping on them to try and create a diversion.
Give me a help roll. How do you feel while doing this? This is the first time you've worked with. This is the first combat you've been in with any of these people.
Yeah, I think I'm scared. Like,
Okay.
not like terrified scared, but like shit, like this could go bad.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Okay.
Is this also the first time you've been in the used the mech?
Yeah, probably.
Oh wow, you've probably used simulations before, but not for real,
this
right?
is the first physical time in the
Rad.
cockpit.
Okay, so I think there is. So you got a 9, which means that you're able to help, but also that you expose yourself to response, basically. So with neutralize, it says
Generate hold and then
And then
use
spend
the
it.
hold in
Yeah,
a bunch
so-
of different ways.
but also on a 7 to 9, I think you take damage, right?
I will take harm in the doing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think what happens is, so immediately you take harm from all 3 of those guys. You're gonna take 3 harm here.
Okay, so that would be 1 harm with my armor, right?
So yeah. So what's your armor come from?
So the armor comes from, I think in fiction it comes from a mix of both the fighting style and I have these steel arm guards that Echo wears.
Cool.
The fighting style in particular, the way I see it as actually being armor is that Echo is just quick.
Okay.
And instead of things being like heavy hits, they become glancing blows.
I gotcha.
With this style at least. The style is the hand-to-hand martial art, Obod,
Yeah. So
AUB,
you have 2
ADB.
styles, basically.
Yes, Obod and Elegy. Elegy is the sword that I have.
Okay, cool.
That I am not using right now.
Okay.
Um,
So what's it look like when you get in there and start fighting?
I think the way it starts is like, so these guys are all armed with like rifles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, should I pick the 2 things I'm spending the hold on first
Yeah, you
to
can go for
flavor
that.
it at all?
Yeah.
So I think 1 is inflict harm.
Yep.
Which would be 2 harm, just so you
Yeah.
know.
So I think you basically kill 2 of these guys, or take them out of the fight. It's up to you if you kill them.
I'd rather take them out than kill them.
Okay.
And then,
But what's that look like? Like how do you do it?
so with that, I think what happens is that, so Echo like literally like leaps in and like, I think like starts with like a roundhouse kicking a guy basically.
Okay.
Like through the air, like they like, actually it's like a heel kick. Like they're like spinning in the air and when they land, their heel like connects with this guy's neck basically.
Okay.
And then he like fires like just instinctually, but Echo's like grabbed his gun and made it shoot like another guy in like the knee. And like those are the 2 guys that are taken out. I think.
Yeah, totally. So that's your 2 hold.
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
well, do I inflict harm? Well, it's 2 harm for. I spend 1 harm to inflict. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, totally. Then you can do. You could totally do 2 more harm then, or do whatever else you want to do with that remaining hold.
Yeah, sorry, I misinterpreted by the because when I said I'd do 2 harm, I thought you meant 2 harm to the group total, so I take out 2 guys.
Sorry, you do whatever your harm is in this fighting style, which I thought was
2 harm is for the fighting style.
Yeah, okay, then yeah, you're totally able to do with 1 hold. You're able to do 2 harm. That's totally fine.
Okay,
and that takes these like are nobodies. They are all 1 harm to knock them out, basically.
Okay. And I think the other one I'm going to take is impress, dismay, or frighten your opponent.
Okay, so I think
because there is this unarmed person coming in and fighting this group of like military men.
I also think there's a moment when one of them almost shoots you, but instead, that's the moment the railgun hits the side of the truck or like goes near it, and like they like and they like pull up their shot and just miss you barely. But then I think one of them shoots you, and that's where you take that 1 damage from. Okay. But then like you're fine, like you just fucking hold it, and that's the when you dismay or frighten them, you know, and they're like, oh shit, and just like drops his rifle and runs away. But then the truck begins to like unfold its huge cannon. I think the moment that you fire your first railgun too, you see the doyen inside of the beetle walker like makes a motion with her hands. She's kind of like lifts upwards, and there's this very fine like silica, this like very fine glass slowly begins to disperse out from her walker around her and everything else. But nothing else has happened yet at this point. Just like this is slowly going around. Who has not done anything in a bit?
I had a move that I forgot that I wanted to do real quick.
What do you want to do?
Just a quick one. I want to do an analyze.
Oh, sure. Totally. That makes perfect sense. Do that really quick.
Yeah. So that is I'm scared as
you mentioned
described.
Make sure you're marking that because I don't see them marked. Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong person. I'm looking at the wrong person.
Yeah.
But also Echo, you should mark powerful. You don't see any powerfuls marked.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Okay.
Oh, and then we're supposed to unmark something when we do the opposite thing, right?
Correct. And so they're marked by they're paired out. So like if you're marking joyful, you should be unmarking sad. If you're marking scared, you'd be unmarking powerful, etc. All right, so you totally get 3 on this analyze. Awesome.
Excellent. So I have a quick question because I have a move that adds to the analyze move.
Sure.
Which is instincts. When you use analyze, you may ask, who or what here is relevant to my story in addition to the other questions? Does that mean that adds it to the list, or I can ask that in addition to my role?
Yeah, that's it. Just adds it to you may ask. It's not you also ask for free.
Right.
So it's just on that list. Just add it to that list. Yeah.
Okay. So I would love to ask. I'm going to start with that. Who or what here is relevant to my story?
Like the doyen, obviously, the 3 remaining knights, the 4th knight who is on the ground. There is a. I guess you just get like the glint of their goggles up on the top of the plateau. There's a sniper, who is the one who killed that knight, and you can see he's taking aim at the doyen now, and he is intrinsic to whatever story is about to unfold. And then like Janie and Serge. And then everybody else who's like in your crew, basically. Actually, you can see that the sniper is actually he is not taking aim at the doyen. Sorry, my bad. He is not taking aim at the doyen. He is in fact packing up his stuff.
To go.
Yeah. Okay.
How vulnerable is the sniper to me?
Not very. You don't have a sniper rifle. Like he's very far away. He has like an anti-material, like he's a super, this is his thing. The thing he does is kill people from incredibly far away.
Okay, so I can't like use the platform to like jet over there.
He's on top of this huge thing that it took you guys hours to get down. You know what I mean? Like they've used a weird special super truck and a mech to climb it quickly. It would take you a long time to get up there.
Yeah. What, if anything, appears out of place?
The knight with the gun. The knight with the gun is so he's missing, or whoever's inside, they're missing on purpose.
Got it. Okay.
Cool. Gran sounded like you had something.
Yeah, I don't know how to use that information we just got, though. And I feel like I should. I feel like I should really be informed by that. I don't know. I'm not super good at, I'm not a good fight person.
Yeah, fair.
You have a knife. You have a Swiss Army knife.
A poison Swiss Army knife, which I think is
against a bunch of
significant.
robots.
Yeah. Who can I help?
It's a good question. No one jumps out at me as being in trouble at this. Like, I guess like the biggest trouble is that truck that's unfolding like a giant plasma cannon, basically. I don't know that you have a thing that's like, oh, I'll take care of that.
Not that wouldn't like really set me up to be grievously harmed, but I guess this is the time for that. But like, I bet there's shit there. I bet there's hydraulics. I bet there's stuff I could, and my knife is stuck in scissors anyway.
It is. Do you want to like get under there and start cutting?
Yeah, I think I want to like get under there and start cutting, and I don't even think I care what I'm cut. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to cut the thing that turns into a cannon faster, right? There's not like you cut the safety gear
Give
on
me
the
a risk
cannon.
for this whole thing.
How
are you feeling? Is this scared?
It's probably scared. I mean, there's some of the things on this wheel that I could probably justify for sad, but scared is probably most right.
Okay.
Like, I think miserable and inadequate could both. I don't like being in this situation.
That's actually, I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
I don't think I'm good at it.
Let's do sad.
I'm so much worse at sad than scared. I don't know why I took myself into this.
Because it's good. Hey, that's a 7. You're gonna lose this. You can do this. You can cut this thing. Okay, maybe I'll give you. All right, here's the thing. You can cut 3 wires. There's 3 wires you can cut. I'm gonna send the 3 wires to somebody else in this chat so they can hold me to it. I'm gonna send it to Dre. There's a red wire.
Okay.
There's a blue wire.
Okay.
And there's a yellow wire.
Okay.
All right. Blue, red, yellow.
I cut 1 wire.
You cut 1 wire.
Okay. It obviously can't be yellow because red and yellow go together and blue and yellow don't go together, and I don't super care for blue and red, and I think that is how that's something that would enter into Grand Magnificent's thinking on this.
He's an artist, that's fair.
He's an artist, yeah. And I think I prefer blue and yellow, so I'm going to cut red.
Fuck. Okay. Hey, Dre, what did I type?
So let's start from the beginning and then get to red.
Okay. What's yellow? I love is like it can't be yellow.
Yeah, yellow deactivates the gun entirely.
Oh, I just that's not how his brain works.
I understand.
Blue, it will start driving in a direction and won't be able to stop.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Red, it will start shooting and it can't stop or aim.
So
oh well.
You just like dump.
That's the opposite. You did the exact wrong one.
And it just starts like, and like the whole like it shoots enough that like the truck is backing itself up into the side of the plateau, and it just
Is
tears.
it like shooting into its own recoil, like it just like.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like this is the super move for Iron Man, right, in Marvel vs. Capcom. Like it's that proton, like huge, like blue pink laser of death, and it's like it is tearing into at first the one fruit truck that was already hit. And when I say fruit truck again, it's like a massive floating 18-wheeler, and then the glass like silica like raises higher into the air, and it like disperses between all of these little tiny floating grains of like glass, and like zipping between all of them, and then like ending in little puffs of nothing. Like it's the most dangerous, it's the loudest sound you've ever heard. Like Grand, your ears are not in a good place. You're so close. Echo, you too. And it just like hits these glass little balls and then nothing. And then it's just like, it's as if it's nothing at all. In fact, like the knight with the shield just like drops the shield and runs through the glass like silica in the air and then just like jumps up over the remaining little bit of the blast and slams its sword down into the back of the gun.
Damn.
Gardner, what are you doing at this moment?
So that one knight has already gone to attack the gun?
Yeah, it's like it's like slamming its sword into the back of the gun at this point.
Does it happen to hit any of the birds at least?
No, like all of like when it disperses, it's nothing.
Happening.
Those birds are still happening.
Okay. Shit. So basically, at this point, we have the big cannon and the birds, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna try to shoot one of the birds down with my railgun.
All right, go for it. That's definitely a neutralize.
Yeah, I don't know if this will do anything for me, but the utility tag on the amp runner is magnification. Like I think, it'll let me like zoom in on something.
Roll with advantage.
Okay. I think I'm gonna roll powerful.
Sounds good. Why? Like, what's the?
Well, at first I was freaked out because I was like, "Oh shit!" But like we're all still alive, and like. And I've gotten used, like, okay, I know how these controls work now. I'm settled in. Like, it's time to just do this thing.
10. Oh, that's a 10. Boom. All right, so again, when you roll neutralize, you could a bunch of hold. You could just spend all 3 of your hold to destroy all 3 of those right now. They do not have the armor to withstand a railgun.
Sure. I'll do that.
What's that look like? What's the railgun like on the?
The railgun is, I think it is. It's just like it like makes like that charge up noise, like the, and it just like, there's probably like a bright blue, like kind of like, almost like after wave that shoots off from it when it fires.
So there's a thing that I'm giving you here that is just like to communicate something about the world. You actually it takes 4 shots to kill them because the first one you shoot at an angle that goes through the glass in the sky in the air. That like you can hear glass shattering as it moves through, and it slows down the rail like shot until it just falls to the ground. But then you reposition and take the remaining shots, and get the kills, and then. At that moment, like the knight who has the rifle, like drops the rifle down, looks over to you and nods, like "Good job."
So the glass
at that point,
came from the big cannon, right?
No, the glass came from the beetle,
That's right.
walker.
Okay, yeah, okay.
The doyenne seemed to like lift her hands and raise this glass up, and. At that moment too, like as the 3 birds are destroyed, I think one of them gets another plasma blast in, but again the silica in the sky like keeps it from doing any damage, and then the knight with the sword finishes cutting, and that is it, and like it blows up, and takes the like walks away. The rest of the attackers flee into the night, and I think that the combat comes to a close. Everyone is like able to I think one of them is running away and Janie just shoots him in the back, like full on attack mode. Surge like pulls the doom buggy to a stop out in the like pulls out away from being in front of the beetle walker so that he's not blocking the doyenne's path, and is like making sure that he's very clear that he is not a threat. And everyone is able to kind of like reconvene. The beetle walker like kneels down, and part of the glass just kind of like swirls open, and then the doyenne steps out, and she is completely nude, but as she steps through the glass, it reforms as like first is like these little bubbles around her that are like just floating around her, and then reforms as this like incredibly like form-fitting dress. that is just opaque enough to cover her. And it moves like silk, like it moves around her like it's not a thing at all. And it has like long, tight sleeves. And part of, as she walks through the glass, it changes the cut of her hair. Like it cuts her hair slightly differently so that instead of being angled down into the left, it's angled down into the right, and it gives her like two dope parts on the side. And then like she's like moves her hands a little bit and it moves around her. And she walks up to your group. And I think maybe makes eye contact with Grand. That's your design. And she like gestures over to the amp runner.
Yeah, I whipped it up on the way over. This is its first real world run. I'm glad to see it performed.
Cleverer than a cat. What school?
Oh, I'm self-taught.
Self-taught. Cleverer than a cat. You should come see me.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And she like turns away from you. She doesn't say anything else. Like that's it. She's done with you at this point. And turns, just like gives Janie a look. Brilliant, Jane. Glad to see you're still loyal. And Jane just kind of like looks down into the ground and like pulls her cloak around her a little tighter. You all have my favor. And like she's ready to go. And just like turns back, steps back into her weird beetle.
That was nice.
Janie, like by herself, like turns the horse and starts to leave to go back to the church. The other knights begin to like try to recover as much of the fruit and other. It's like I maybe one of the other soldiers tells you like, I can't believe we lost a whole truck, and explains that like it's experimental. It's like new genetic fruit. It's like new test fruit from a new batch of like artist scientists who are trying to figure out new fruit flavors. And like it's basically like, that whole truck was someone's dissertation on the concept of sweetness, and it's gone now. It's like award winning.
That's not that big of a deal.
Someone
that's
spent
like way
a long time.
I thought that was food someone needed to eat.
No, we have food to eat.
Yeah. No, this was art food. That it sucks, but it's like no one's hungry because of the food.
There are different
Someone's
sorts
never
of
gotten
hungry.
a doctorate.
Yeah. Yes, someone's wasted the last 3 years of their life. Like
I'm sure there's enough fruit here to satisfy some sort of board.
Yeah. There's no satisfying a board. There's only satisfying the doyen, and she is hard to satisfy.
She was here. She saw what happened.
Is there anything left of like these like
Totally.
robotic bird things?
Yeah. Robotic birds are still, there's remnants of everything that was here.
Oh, Austin. There's so many things for me to check out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do we want to actually maybe wrap and then open the next time with you
Setting up the beacon and checking out the birds.
I think we just get a montage of, maybe that's the thing that we end on, is like you scrounging, a montage of like you scrounging, you setting up the beacon and firing it off. I also think, just for clarity, I think Gig, that's when the first broadcast goes live. Like the broadcast goes live when you fire off the node, when the node gets activated, because otherwise there's no way for us to actually communicate it back to the fleet, right? So you went live.
Oh,
and,
no, I thought that we said that it existed outside of... It says in the thing specifically that it exists outside of the Veil.
Right, but there's no way it would have left this planet, is what I'm saying. The only way anything gets off this planet is if this node is set up. So that's everybody else.
Well, I have there's sort of a plot hole then of me being like, there's a lot more people watching this.
Well, there are the people on this planet.
Oh, they were watching it?
Yes, because like someone mentioned earlier, I think it was Janie was like, yeah, we have things like the mesh here.
Yeah.
in their cities, right? So like that's what actually goes on.
So when I was like, hey guys, sorry I haven't updated in a while, I was talking to people that I thought, I was like, oh, that's just, my regs.
Right. No, all new people.
But no, it was 100% new audience, and it was already way bigger than an
Than
audience
anything.
that I've ever
Yes,
had.
exactly. It's a whole new
And it
niche
hasn't even
audience.
gone to the mesh yet. Okay.
It's
And
amazing.
none of those people have ever seen you update, so it still kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're also able to know that that is like the remember you caught that weird signal before that was like the church is amenable? That was definitely like some of these soldiers talking to each other over radio about potential places to stop to like refuel and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not stopping. They're going to continue on after that attack, obviously. So yeah, so I think we get that montage of the thing opening up, and at that point I am going to bring you back over to the map here, which is a map of Choir. And I'm going to give you all 4 spaces around the node opened up. Oops, I didn't mean to. Wait, did I? Yeah, that should disappear. Correct. And four spaces in every direction open up on this map, and that is what you'll get every time you open a node. And obviously, I think you'll be able to reveal part of this map in other ways than the nodes, basically. But that is how we will slowly reveal what Choir looks like and fill it in ourselves also. Like, it won't only be this.
Is G35 the node?
G35 is the node.
Okay.
I'm also going to color it different. I'm going to change this tint color so it's like bluish to show that it's online. Hell yeah.
Love to be online.
Do you? Because I often do not.
Love to be online.
I mean, you
Even though that is
specifically
the opposite
do
of
not
my
love to be
character.
online.
Yeah, right.
So what is revealed? So I think, okay, so as you connect the node, again, we're getting this montage. We're getting even picking through the scraps and beginning to like look at all the different technology. We get the node coming online, and when it does, there is this last little bit of information that is stored in like the mesh that was already there's like an echo of the mesh, no pun intended, echo, that is from when Curiosity visited this planet hundreds of years ago, and there are all of these spots. I don't know if you remember that Curiosity is the divine from, or it's not from the Sky Reflected in Mirrors, but Sky Reflected in Mirrors is part of is where the Curiosity disappeared eventually, and it is there are all these points. There are like 50 plus points on this map that that Curiosity marked with just, oh yeah, here's a thing that's interesting. And that's all Curiosity gives you. Curiosity doesn't give you like any information about what the thing is. That's it. And so that reveals all of that. Off to the west, what is revealed is that's where the Doyen is going, to G27, which is the central city to the Crown of Glass, a city known as the Sculpture. And it is just like, I think the sun rises and catches the mix of like glass and sandstone. It's like an Art Deco city made of glass and sandstone, basically. And it's just like huge, beautiful curves on its skyscrapers. And then like also all around the city are just like quarries of digging into whatever is all around it. And is there anything else? Are there any other pictures? Like, what's everybody doing? What's the final shot of everybody in this little montage?
I think Echo is digging the bullet out of their arm and stitching that up.
Good call.
Like they have, like, because Echo's a tailor, they like are literally using like the same needle and thread they use for that because it's all they have.
Do you let Surge help you if Surge offers to help?
Definitely.
Okay. Grant, what about you? Oh, I think I actually have a thing with Grant, but go ahead. Let me hear yours
my
first.
thing was going to be because he finally has access to fabricators again.
Yes.
That he starts like he like builds like a prototype, like maybe like a 3-person tall Wolfman mech, and then like looks at it and then like shakes his head and it just disappears and he's over that.
He's done with the Wolfman mech?
Oh, thank God.
Aw.
Yeah, we need to keep coming up with things. It can't be the same thing every time.
Okay, that's fair. I guess. So I think like as you do that, where are you when you're doing that?
I think it's like honestly closer to the center of town than is really polite to be building a.
Oh wait, so do you
like
go to that
18
city, or
foot.
are you just in the?
Oh no, I mean like in this area, like
okay.
where we were.
Yeah.
Just like closer to people than is polite to build a 20-foot Wolfman robot.
So I think that there's a moment which you like finish it. Yeah, maybe there's like there's like a little village nearby that's close enough to get to, and like that has the fabricator and stuff. And there's just like a man in a what do you call it? Like not a poncho, like a what are the things that like Clint Eastwood wears in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
That's a poncho.
Is that a poncho? Well, not the whole long poncho, just like a cape, I guess, is actually what it is, because it comes a little lower on the chest than normal.
Like a shawl?
Like a shawl, yeah, a person with a shawl, and he has just like bright red hair that's like kind of fluffy and forward, and a pair of like night vision goggles that just look like regular goggles that are like up on his forehead, and has on like a shortcut like brown jacket, like it's basically like a crop top jacket. There's a name for that. What are those actually called?
Crop top jacket. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I have no idea.
We need to be better at fashion on this fucking show.
That's what the ship game's for. That's what the ship game's for.
They're good at fashion.
Doing all right.
We're doing okay. And he has, underneath that crop top brown jacket, he has just like a black tank top on and a pair of jeans with cowboy boots. It's a look. And I think he like as you erase the mech prototype, he just like makes eyes with you, and you know it's the dude from the top. It's the dude who was like not the leader of that group, but was the most important person there. It was the assassin. It was the guy who killed the knight. Those knights are called saints, by the way. I think you also use like here in the news that Saint that was Saint Glass. Saint Glass was assassinated. Or was killed in the fray. You do not hear the words assassinated, but given what you all saw, I think you have a good enough reason to believe that that was an assassination. And there's going to be mourning in the streets because Saint Glass is like one of the old guard, one of not the founding members of the canon, but one of the long established members of the formal canon is what it's called, is what this specific canon is called, which is what the names of these groups of knights are called.
Speaking of the Saints, did something happen? Like, did anything ever come of the one that was missing on purpose? Did they join up with the rest of the knights?
Yeah, totally. And they helped clean up afterwards. It was totally fine.
They helped clean up? Okay. Fucking covert, huh? Deep cover.
So I think that's y'all. I think he just makes I think maybe he makes eye contact with you actually, Grand, and he like walks over and offers a hand.
Yeah, I guess.
Casketball.
I guess.
His name's Casketball.
Casketball? That sounds like a sport.
Casketball. Cascabel.
Octagonal.
Grand Magnificent.
You do good work. I hope I never have to kill one of yours.
Thank you. Me too. They're lovingly crafted.
You're flustered. That's fine. I'll be seeing you. And he like turns and walks away and like is carrying a bag that you know has like his equipment in it. And like heads off to the side and gets just like a regular ass horse. Maybe it's like a weird lizard horse. It's a weird lizard horse. And climbs on top of it and like rides off to the east.
That's not really any much weirder than a real horse if you think about it.
Right, that's exactly it, right? Like horses are weird already.
Yeah, it's like a 30 times dog we ride on.
Okay. So we have Echo. Or no, we have Echo. Yep, we have Echo. We have Grand. We have Even. So we have Echo. Or no, we have Echo. Yep, we have Echo. We have Grand. We have Even. And how do you end your first transmission gig?
Hey there, everybody. This is Gig checking in for the very first time planet side. It was absolutely gorgeous here until all the fighting. It really was an incredible experience and opportunity. I'm so glad that I got to come down here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what I hope is the best parts of choir. There is a lot more than that happening today. Again, I do apologize for the sort of deathy shooting stuff, because it's not my scene really at all. There's, clearly a lot happening. I don't understand who a lot of these people are and why they're fighting on each other. But, we're here to make inroads, and that's what we're going to do. I hope that we can find some sort of way to get ourselves into a position where we're not being attacked, because I don't like it. Obviously, keep in mind that I don't know who the factions are. None of us really do. We're sorry if we're on the wrong side right now. I'm trying to stay as neutral as possible. I didn't have to shoot anybody, and that was great. But I hope that we can sort of emerge from the under the cloak of ignorance into the sunlight of knowing anything about this world. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I get to know some of my new viewers, and thanks for kicking it with me, Planetside.